She said he was like a little brother, but the way she touched him, laughed with him, chose him, I knew I was losing her before I could stop it. Have you ever felt like a ghost in your own life? That's me. Always there, but just out of frame. My parents had me during the hardest years, when love felt like a luxury they couldn't afford. Then Lucas came along, and suddenly we were a family worth rooting for. The miracle, the rescue, the golden boy. And I became the silent extra in his story. I don't hate him. He's kind. Too kind. The kind that draws people in without even trying. I've watched the world fall at his feet while I stood in the background, clapping on cue, fading from the scene. He didn't steal the spotlight. The world just handed it to him. And no one noticed I was still standing in the dark. And I've spent years trying not to resent him for something he didn't even choose. But then Rachel happened, and that's when things got complicated. Rachel, God. She's 22, and she's been my person since we were teenagers. We met in a freshman study group and never looked back. Inside jokes, movie marathons, dreams of a little place upstate. I thought I'd found the one thing in my life that was mine, until I gave it away. When Lucas got into my college, I wanted to do the right thing. Be the good older brother. I figured Rachel could help him settle in. She's a natural with people. I even thought it would bring us all closer. Stupid, right? I put them in the same classes, I made the introductions, I lit the fuse. At first it was fine. Sweet even. Rachel would text me about how Lucas was adjusting, say he was funny, a little shy, but smart. She said she liked helping him, that it made her feel needed. Then it got weird. She started texting him more than me. Inside jokes I didn't understand started popping up. They'd laugh about some meme or class moment, and I'd just sit there smiling like I was part of it, even when I wasn't. But the moment that truly broke something in me came one night at a small dinner we had with friends. We were all seated around this tiny apartment table, elbow to elbow, plates balanced on our laps. Rachel had made some kind of creamy mushroom pasta, her favorite comfort meal. Lucas, sitting beside her, mentioned how good it smelled, and without skipping a beat, she scooped up a bite and held it to his lips. Fed him, from her own spoon. She looked at him the way she used to look at me. Everyone laughed. It was cute, harmless, except it wasn't. I laughed too, but it felt like glass in my throat. That night, I lay awake with Rachel next to me, scrolling through her phone, probably talking to him. I didn't say anything, just stared at the ceiling, wondering when I'd become a bystander in my own relationship. I told myself I was overthinking, that I was being paranoid, but the little things kept stacking up. Photos of her and Lucas started showing up on her Instagram. Pictures I hadn't even seen until they were posted for everyone else. Captions like "this genius" and "my favorite study buddy." She even once commented under his post, "looking like a whole Greek god today," while I was sitting right next to her. She never posted about me anymore. Not since Lucas came into our orbit. One night we were hanging out with our group when someone joked about this figure drawing class that needed nude models. Everyone laughed and moved on. But Rachel? She turned to Lucas and said, "You should do it. Seriously, with your build? You'd make bank." And everyone jumped in. "Yeah, Lucas, come on. Artists would love you." I sat there frozen while my girlfriend practically sold my brother's body to the room. She didn't even look at me. Later that night in the car, I tried to joke about it. "Hey, maybe next time you can auction him off properly." She rolled her eyes. "It was a joke, Jake. Relax. You're reading too much into it." But I wasn't. I knew I wasn't. Then came the lake trip. Rachel had been talking about it for over a year. A little cabin by the water, just the two of us. No phones, no school, just us, nature, and time to breathe. We'd planned it down to the last meal, and then casually, like it was nothing, she asked, "Would it be okay if Lucas came with us?" I blinked. "To our romantic trip?" She laughed. "He's been feeling down lately. I thought maybe it'd be nice to include him." Include him in something sacred, in something that was supposed to be ours. I felt something inside me crack wide open. All the years of being second best, of watching Lucas get things handed to him, attention, affection, praise, and now Rachel too. I didn't yell. I didn't even raise my voice. I just told her no. Then I got up, walked out, and didn't look back. I went radio silent, blocked Lucas, stopped replying to Rachel's texts. I didn't want apologies. I wanted clarity and peace. And for a little while, the silence felt like a relief. But silence doesn't last. Not when you're drowning in questions. Not when your heart still hopes they're innocent, while your gut screams they're not. Have you ever talked yourself into a version of the truth you can live with? That's what I did after the lake trip conversation. I told myself maybe I was overreacting. Maybe Rachel just missed being surrounded by people. Maybe Lucas really was lonely. I told myself that because the other version, the one where I'm being replaced in slow motion, hurt too damn much. But that silence I'd wrapped around myself, it started to scream. Every time my phone buzzed, I wondered if it was Rachel or Lucas or some dumb mutual friend who didn't know I'd cut contact. My mind would spin. Were they talking? Were they hanging out without me? Did they even notice I was gone? After 2 weeks of nothing, Lucas reached out. Just a single text. Can we talk? Please. I didn't mean to hurt you. I stared at it for hours. I wasn't ready. But the thing is, when someone takes up that much space in your head, you either face it or let it rot you from the inside. So I agreed to meet. We met at this diner near campus, neutral ground. I got there early and picked a booth in the back. Lucas showed up 5 minutes late, looking like he hadn't slept in days. Dark circles under his eyes, hair a mess. It was the first time I'd seen him look human, not golden, not perfect, just a tired kid. He sat across from me, fidgeting with a packet of sugar, like he couldn't stand the silence between us. I didn't know you felt this way, he finally said, voice low. Like at all. I didn't respond right away, just stared at him, waiting. He looked up. About me, about Rachel. I never meant for anything to happen. I didn't even know something was happening. I laughed once, sharp and bitter. That's the problem, Lucas. You never know. You just show up and everything tilts toward you. He flinched. I didn't ask for that, he said. I've always looked up to you. I swear, Jake, I thought she was just being friendly. I leaned in. Friendly as a side hug, a thumbs up. Not her texting you at 2 a.m., not sharing secrets and feeding you from her damn spoon. He looked stunned, guilty, but not in a got-caught way. More like someone who finally saw the fire in the room after standing in the smoke for hours. I'll stop talking to her, he said quickly, if that's what you need. I never wanted to come between you two. That's when I asked the question that had been clawing at my throat for days. What happened that night at her apartment? The one you said you got blackout drunk? Lucas blinked, confused. What? You told me you don't remember anything after midnight, that she helped you to the bathroom, that you think you might have passed out on her couch. He nodded slowly. Rachel told me you barely drank, said you left early and were totally fine. That landed hard. His eyes narrowed, processing. That's not true. I felt a chill slide down my spine. Are you sure? I asked, but I already knew the answer. Lucas swallowed hard. I remember bits and pieces. She helped me sit up, putting a blanket over me. I remember her hand in my hair. I thought I imagined that part, but maybe not. My stomach flipped. Did you two hook up? I asked straight up. He looked horrified. Number, I swear to God, Jake, nothing like that happened. I would never do that to you. But the thing is, when you grow up always being second place, your brain doesn't trust peace. Even in that moment, with his eyes wide and scared and honest, I didn't know what to believe. Lucas sat back, looking devastated. Why would she lie about it? I don't know, I said quietly, and that's what kills me. A few days later, I met with Rachel. I shouldn't have, maybe, but some part of me needed to look her in the eye and hear it for myself. See if she'd match Lucas's story or fold under pressure. She showed up at our usual spot at the park, the bench under the big oak tree by the trail we used to walk every Sunday. She looked wrecked, pale, eyes puffy, like she'd been crying for hours. But she still smiled when she saw me. Jake, she breathed, like she'd been underwater since the last time she saw me. I didn't say anything. She sat down beside me, not too close. Smart move. I missed you, she said. I've been trying to give you space, but God, I just want to talk. Please. I nodded once. Go ahead. Rachel inhaled shakily. I didn't mean to hurt you, I swear. Lucas is just easy to talk to. That's all it was. He was struggling, and I was trying to help, like you asked me to. I clenched my jaw. So, helping includes late-night texting and spoon-feeding? She looked down. That was stupid. I see that now. But Jake, I never felt anything for him. Not like that. So why does it feel like you did everything with him you used to do with me? That hit her. Her breath caught, and for a moment I saw her mask slip. I got lost, she admitted. Somewhere along the way, I stopped paying attention to you. I let things get blurry, but I never stopped loving you. I almost believed her until I asked about that night. The night he drank too much at your place. He said you helped him to the bathroom. He passed out, that he barely remembers it. Her lips parted slightly, panic flashing in her eyes. I don't remember it like that, she said. He had 2 beers. We watched a movie. He left early. Which is it? I asked. Was he fine? Or was he blackout drunk? She froze. I don't know, she whispered. Maybe I didn't notice how drunk he was. Liar, or scared, or both. I stared out at the trees. The breeze felt cold now, sharp. It wanted to peel the truth out of both of us. Lucas said he remembers your hand in his hair. She didn't respond. The silence between us grew teeth. Finally, I stood. I can't do this right now, I said. I don't know what happened. Maybe nothing. Maybe I'm broken. Maybe you two were just too close, too fast. But I need to figure this out without either of you in my ear. She grabbed my hand. Please don't walk away from us. From me. I looked down at her, the woman I thought I'd marry, the woman I thought would never make me feel like a shadow in my own relationship. I'm not walking away, I said. I'm just stepping out of the line of fire. Then I left, and for the first time in a long time, I felt the quiet settle inside me, not as a scream, but as a sigh. Have you ever sat in your own room and felt like a stranger? That's what the days felt like after I walked away from Rachel and Lucas. Like I'd wandered into someone else's life by mistake and forgot how to get out. The bed felt too big. Every playlist sounded wrong. Even the damn walls, painted with her suggestions, decorated with our memories, felt like they were pressing in on me. I kept thinking, was it me? Was I just broken before they ever touched anything? I started reading our old messages. Not the recent ones, but the ones from when we first fell for each other. When Rachel used to call me her favorite person. When I couldn't go 10 minutes without smiling like an idiot because she'd sent a meme or said something sweet like, Jake, your brain is my comfort show. How did we get from that to me wondering if she ran her hands through my brother's hair while he was drunk on her couch? It didn't take long before I broke down and called someone I hadn't talked to in years, Coach Tully. He was my high school guidance counselor. But more than that, he was the first adult who ever really saw me. He picked up on the first ring like he was waiting. Jake, he said, been thinking about you, kid. I don't know how he knew, but I didn't even get a word out before I choked up. Just sat there, phone pressed to my forehead, swallowing back years of crap I hadn't unpacked since I was 17. He didn't say much, just told me to breathe. Said I should talk to someone real, a professional, not just an old coach. I booked a therapy intake the next day. In the first session, I spilled everything. I told the therapist, Dr. Myers, about Lucas, about Rachel, about feeling like a backup character in my own life. I told him about that night in the diner with Lucas and the day in the park with Rachel, about the lies, the inconsistencies, the ache that sat in my chest like a swallowed stone. He didn't try to solve it, didn't throw some choose-yourself bullshit at me either. He just asked, when was the last time you felt like someone chose you? That question undid me, because I didn't know. I thought Rachel did. I thought that when she looked at me, she saw something worth choosing, but maybe she just saw someone safe, someone familiar, until someone shinier came along. A week later, Rachel sent me a letter. Not a text, not a DM, a real handwritten letter slid under my apartment door in an envelope with my name in her familiar cursive. It was 3 pages long. I must have read it 20 times. She said she was sorry, that she'd gotten lost in the comfort of someone new while forgetting the one who gave her that comfort in the first place. She admitted she should have set clearer boundaries with Lucas, that she'd never meant for any of it to feel like betrayal, but she saw now that it did. She said something else too, something that stuck. I think I liked who I was around him because I stopped liking who I was around you. That part broke me in a different way, because that's what I'd been wondering too. Did I become someone she couldn't love anymore? I didn't respond, but I didn't block her either. Lucas texted again a few days later. Just a photo of this stupid stuffed dinosaur I gave him when we were kids. The caption said, "Still on my shelf. Always looked up to you." I didn't reply to him either, but I didn't delete the photo. It was like I couldn't pull the trigger, couldn't bring myself to let go completely. Not yet. Not when the past still felt closer than the present. Dr. Myers asked me once if I thought what Rachel and Lucas did was technically wrong. I said no. No cheating, no kissing, no affair. But it still felt like betrayal. He said, "That's because betrayal isn't always about what happens. Sometimes it's about what's missing, what you were denied." That hit harder than anything else. Because what I was denied wasn't just honesty, it was certainty. It was the feeling that when I looked into Rachel's eyes, I'd see myself. Not Lucas. Not some version of her she preferred with him, but me. One night, I sat in my living room, the one we used to cuddle in, dream in, and argue in. I sat there with a beer in one hand and our old photo album in the other. The last photo we took together was from my birthday. Rachel had her arms wrapped around me, but when I looked closely, her eyes weren't on me. They were staring at something behind the camera, probably Lucas. And just like that, the illusion crumbled. I finally understood. Even if she didn't do anything with him, the emotional shift was real. She had given part of herself to someone else. And even if she swore it wasn't romantic, it had taken her away from me. She stopped choosing me. So now I had to choose myself. I texted Rachel 2 words, "I forgive you." And then I muted the conversation. I texted Lucas too. "I don't hate you, but I need space. Please respect that." He replied right away, "Always." I think that's the moment I stopped spiraling. Not because everything was okay, but because I finally stopped needing answers that might never come. I started running again. Something about pounding the pavement, breathing in rhythm, made the ache bearable. I got back into my studio projects. I even reached out to an old friend I'd pushed away during all the Rachel stuff. We grabbed coffee. It wasn't a date, just human contact. And I finally hung new photos on my wall. Pictures of me, just me, smiling, learning how to be okay without being someone's second choice. Have you ever held on to something so tightly it starts to cut into you? That's what I was doing with Rachel, with Lucas, with the version of my life I thought I was living. I was gripping it so hard trying to keep it together that I didn't even notice how much it was bleeding me dry. But the thing about letting go, real, intentional letting go, is that it doesn't happen all at once. It happens in quiet pieces, like deleting the playlist Rachel made me for our anniversary, the one titled Us Forever. I hovered over that trash icon for what felt like hours before I finally clicked it. And I didn't cry. I just stared at the screen, feeling still. Or when I passed by the campus art building, where Rachel once joked Lucas should be a nude model. I used to avoid that place like it was cursed. That day I walked right by it, didn't flinch, didn't stop, just kept going. The last piece fell into place the day Lucas sent me a voicemail. He didn't call. He knew I wouldn't pick up. He just left a message. I sat on the edge of my bed, heart racing, listening to his voice crack in the first 10 seconds. "Hey Jake, I know you don't want to hear from me. I get it. I need to say this and then I'll stop, I promise." He paused, breathing hard like he was holding something in. "I looked up to you my whole life. You were never second to me, ever. You were the reason I wanted to get out of that foster home, the reason I kept going. I know I messed up, crossed lines I didn't even see were there. But Rachel, I didn't want her, not like that. I only wanted what you had, not because I wanted to take it, but because I wanted to be you." He let out a shaky laugh. "Stupid, right? Anyway, I'm gonna back off. I hope you find your peace. You deserve it." Click. I listened to that message twice. Then I deleted it, because I didn't need it anymore. Lucas's voice didn't hold power over me like it used to. Neither did Rachel's. Their stories, their guilt, their explanations, it all felt like background noise now. I wasn't the boy begging to be chosen anymore. I stayed in therapy, not because I was broken, but because I was healing. Dr. Myers helped me unravel things I'd never said out loud, like how I grew up watching love be given like a prize instead of a right, how I learned to settle for half attention and call it affection, how I confused being needed with being loved. He looked at me once, hands steepled under his chin, and said, "Jake, you've spent your whole life trying to earn what you already deserved." That line stuck. The world didn't owe me anything, but I didn't owe anyone my silence anymore either. A few weeks later, I ran into Rachel. It wasn't dramatic, just a chance encounter at a bookstore near campus. She was standing in the aisle with a cup of coffee, flipping through a poetry collection. I saw her before she saw me, and for the first time, my chest didn't tighten. I walked up, nodded. "Hey!" She looked up and froze. "Jake!" We stood there in that weird, heavy stillness for a moment. Then she smiled. Soft, not like before. "How are you?" she asked genuinely. "I'm good," I said, and for the first time, I meant it. She didn't ask to get back together. She didn't cry. She just nodded, looked down at the book in her hands, and said, "You look lighter." I smiled. "So do you." That was it. We parted ways like people who once shared something deep but outgrew it. No bitterness, just understanding. That night I went home and opened a new journal. First page I wrote, "I loved her. And maybe I always will, but I love myself more now." I don't know where I go from here. I don't know if I'll fall in love again soon, or if I'll spend the next few years figuring out what that even means anymore. But I know this. I am not second best, not to Rachel, not to Lucas, not to anyone. I'm not what's left after someone else shines brighter. I'm my own damn light, and I'm finally learning how to walk in it. If you made it this far, thanks for riding with me. If you love real, messy, emotional stories like this, go ahead and hit subscribe. There's always another confession waiting in the backseat.